Okay. What do I have going on here? Thursday, January 19, 2017. Right, Kev? That's right. All right. We're back to natural gas. Somebody asked about filling this gap up here. Okay, we know that there's three types of gaps. There's the breakaway gap, the measuring gap, and then the exhaustion gap. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with first. Okay, the yellow here is your onbound or your money flow. Okay, so you have your money flow, and you can see price goes higher, new money comes in, peaks out, blah blah blah. Same thing again, gives it another shot. Price goes higher, not as much money, which means basically the onesie twosies drove this higher, right? And then you had the full pullback, you get the money wash out, you get the run to new highs, okay, and another new high. And it kind of lagged on the money flow, and we had the pullback here, okay? How I'm looking at this now that we have the EIA numbers come out and stuff. First things first is we'll start off with this is a head and shoulders. Okay, that's the for the bears we'll say, or we're warning for the bulls. We have a lower low. Okay, we have a lower high here, but price now stalled in between here. So what I'm looking at is that this is going to be it, okay? So for bulls for right now to follow this thing up, this is going to be basically your stopper. I said about 308, that was the monthly pivot. This is going to be it for the bulls on here. I mean, you do have this down here, but whatever. Okay, here. Now, they asked about this gap. Now, if this fills the gap like Amazon did, okay, and then roll over, well, once you get to that time, okay, then you can look at it again to see how it's playing out. What I'm getting at is that if this thing goes and fills the gap, okay, what stops it from running into say 408? Okay, so just because it fills the gap doesn't mean that it just can't continue on. So you look at a daily on here, see what we have going on. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say for the bulls, today's action's pretty good. Remember, I wrote this morning about the weekly bar that the bulls have to, the bulls kind of have to get this together here. Change that. What I'm doing here is there. That's a good number. What I'm doing here is I'm getting below the bodies under here for a line besides the low down in here. You can see that it lines up with the support areas. So this is basically engulfing the previous pattern. Okay, so I will say that for Friday, the bulls have to try and get this up to say 47. Okay. On the gap, okay, let me take a look here with the volume. And let's do it this way too. Okay. I'll try it this way. That's a pretty decent bar on volume-wise. Even though on the weekly, I pointed out that the bodies were in here, okay? When you break it down, when you break it down, it's trending higher. Okay, it does have that kind of gappy action here and that, just like up in here. But as long as that trend is still holding, at worst for the bulls, this will trade sideways. Okay, because eventually, natty gas will clear $4 and then work its way back up to, we'll say, 450. My stopping points are like, outside of, 408, 420, we'll say 450, 650, 750, and then 8. Okay, there's the 650 basically back, just round numbers. Point and figure chart, right? As long as it's still pointing up, it's in that phase. I'm leaning though that I'll give the bulls a lot of credit for holding the low here. Okay. Of course, the next thing is you know, it comes off of the low off the bottom down here, goes up. All right. Comes back down about halfway. Now this move up, we're about halfway, but these are some pretty decent bars here volume wise. Okay. And that's just off 30-minute. If it does 43, 47. Okay. If it does clear here, I kind of lean that if it does begin to start filling the gap, I have to kind of assume that it'll push higher through here and probably work towards 4. Now the other deal is that the angle of ascent should increase too on this here. You know, it moved up at the old 45 degrees, went sideways, and then remember how quickly it took off, and it tried it again and it collapsed. And I wrote this morning about a weekly, you know, on a flag situation. But for right now, I'm going to say that the bulls, did a very good job of holding this together. But you know, at the low today, was that 4-hour chart again? At the low today, they did a really good job of holding this in right here, and it's a pretty decent bar. But this would probably be your trigger underneath here that it's not going to fill the gap. I'm going to assume here on this that it's going to try and get up into this area. 64, 41, another 20 cents higher. Like I said, you know, I don't do the fundamentals thing. I don't know where we're at with the storage. I assume everything that's under the sun is in here. And, you know, those in the know. And plus, remember, it's still a commodity. Stuff comes out of the ground. You have people hedging it. But I would assume, though, that if it does begin to pick up here, that the angle of ascent would increase. So it's kind of like basically, you know, if you're kind of stuck up in here and you're hoping for the gap fill, today's action is a pretty good deal right now. And that would be, you know, one of those that, you know, you're going to have to pull the plug on this one here. You know, like I said, on a weekly basis, it was beginning to look like, that you know, it's kind of on the shallow end of things here. I'm working on kind of a flag, you know, like I said, we'll lean that this is a head and shoulders for now, and in a larger degree sideways pattern. Okay, but you know, draw your trend line underneath here. It was a pretty good save by the bulls today. And there's still room to run on the money here. What's this? What's the 44? 344. Has to get through that, the 44, to kind of get this thing going to fill the gap. So, you know, if it fills the gap and you see the money flow bloat like you saw with Amazon, you know, where the new buyers came in the last 18 hours. You know, they didn't want to buy it at 770, but they were tickled pink to buy it at 820. I'm gonna lean on the bulls. I'll give, even though, you know, I kind of say, well, you know, I think we're working on the right shoulder here. I will lean because this is a pretty good save for right now for the bulls. But if this does come back through, then we're talking back down to this kind of thing here. All right, that was on Natty Gas. Let me take a look at the UGAS and stuff here too. All right. What am I looking for here? Okay. Take a look at our Dow stuff. Okay. That's Dow. Sideways pattern here. What? Okay. So I need UGAS. And what I'm doing here is I'm just looking at the sentiment to see if the bodies are in here. Okay, here's our low on unbalanced volume on the gap low here. Okay, this is a 2-hour chart daily. All right, so that was a pretty good low. Okay, on a weekly, that's up here again, but it was pretty whippy here. As you can see, here you have, for the best for the bulls, you have, your sideways pattern going on here. It's like I said, it's, where you break out on here and you pretty much have, we'll just call this kind of a W bottom. This is on the U gas. Let me check out the D gas here. All right, so they degas, they did sell out of this thing at the bottom down here, right? Okay. All right, they got out of it here. Wow, is that a flag too? Possible C pattern here, like ABC. And then this is stalling on pivot, just like the natty gas was right there at resistance level. All right, so that's a daily and then 2 hour. Because what I'm looking for here is, besides the fact of, they bailed out of it, then they piled back in, and here it's kind of neutral. 2 hour. Okay, so they got out of it. So there's a possibility here of an inverted head and shoulder on D gas. So I'll lean that the bulls still have natty gas for it. Going for it, but we're going to need at least one more day, and the bulls are going to have to, either hold it and say an inside day or something sideways, and then go higher, because they have to go through the resistance level here. We'll take a look at natty again. Okay, so if it holds here, okay, see the high today was against a resistance level. And tomorrow's, as of right now, is about 344. All right, but I'm gonna, because of today's action, we're gonna say that there's an anchor here at 326. But under 326, then I'm gonna assume that it'll just fall apart here because of the amount of bodies that this money flow says on the weekly. Same, it had the same type of deal with soybeans, right? If I'm reading this correctly, if everything's right, it tells me there's a lot of bodies in beans. All right. Okay. I think we're good to go here. All right. Right there's my reversal on beans. $10.67. Hey, the month and the year I was born. And what do I need here? I need X7, right? Is that how that works? Okay, so this is November. Okay. You guys. They're definitely in beans. Now I really wish I was in the Midwest. Kevin, you don't need to know what the weather is. You remember that cotton trade? It started off in the spring as a drought and ended up at harvest as a bumper crop. All right, so, okay, so this is my kind of my reversal here on the old beans. What's this chart? Weekly. All right, so this is November of 2017. Okay, and I was treating this year as a bumper year, but after seeing the amount of rain that we had in Minnesota, I might be a year late per se. I was looking for the hard winter and drought and stuff to be 18-19 period on here. If beans crack, though, if beans come back through here, I have to believe that we're going to have just a huge precipitous just washout on the thing. Yeah. All right. I suppose while I'm at it, I can go through the rest of them. Rest of the charts here real quick. Nikkei, bang, it's up against a resistance level here. Where's that? A 2 hour chart. Here's my NASDAQ. We're getting The open was soft. The next level in the NASDAQ is 71 and 50.80 there. Same thing, just like with the Mexican peso, you know, trail it up on this underneath here for any type of reversal. And you can see the mauve lines here. We're looking at, these are your pivots going forward in the days. Now these pivots are adjusting for tomorrow depending upon what the price does, okay? So here we're basically, we are seeing a breakout. What I'm looking for is some sort of reversal. And it's not as much as correcting the, like I said, the warning sign here is correcting not the post-election run-up, but correcting the last 8 years, okay? And like I said, I'm following Nixon's pattern here of after 1968, the market dropped 70 or 37%. Okay, so losing a third doesn't make it. I don't care. I don't need whatever. I mean, you know, everything was. It's just like in 2000 and 2000. One day everybody's in and music stops and it's all over. It's just that quick, you know. With every market, the market, bull markets all behave the same way, you know, but, you know, 2007 was all about the dollar. You know, the more that the dollar fell, the stocks, they were better priced. I mean, let's think back to reality here. $147 oil is good. And now it's on its way to 17, and that's because, you know, the economy's soft. No, you know, I should talk about $17 oil just because it's a line on a chart. But it's like, well, before oil took off, where was it at? It was down there. It was actually lower. So yes, we can. NASDAQ. Okay, so yeah, trail. You want to trail these up behind the ding, 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 you know, because if it goes up and then it reverses, then all of a sudden someone will say, oh, it's profit taking, you know. Gasoline. Gasoline's coming down. Happy place about 148. The products are probably going to be different than this time of the year, you know, short heating oil, you know, that may tie into natural gas. I didn't run a correlation of heating oil versus natty gas, but I'll take a look at it here. Silver, here we go. Here's the Russell. Okay, so the Russell cracked. Okay, so we're looking for here that it stalls. What am I looking for? These 2-day bars, yeah, so stalling some point in here, right? Let's break this down. So the Russell stalled. All right, you may get a hammer here, and this would probably be your reversal up in here. They're going to have to come in here and save the day on the close. What time do we have? 10 o'clock? Wow, I have 4 hours. All right. Yeah, the bulls are going to have to come in here. They're going to have, all right, where are we at? 4 hours, 2 hours. All right, there's our, I'll do 41. No, 41.7. There's, that sounds like a winner. I just pull it out of my, no. That's close, in between both pivots here. Okay, oh, there's the screamers. All right, so Russell's the first to crack on here, huh? Happy place is 12.12. That'll be easy to remember. If it does, you may get a situation here where if it does crack, they'll swipe through here. You should see a bounce. They're going to try and bounce it here, you know, because there's kind of a fat area in here of trade. What am I looking for? No, I'm looking for this one. Monkey bars. I need to fix it to tick. Make it all fuzzy, right, Kev? Apply. There we go. Look at that. Okay, so this is your resistance on your Russell, 17 or 1370 area here. So they would probably drop this thing down to 1244 on the Russell. But like I said, I really don't think the stuff is going to last down here. That is about 30%, isn't it? 1300 to 1080. That's pretty close in my book. Let's try week daily. So the Russell cracked. There's our resistance here. A lot of trade in there. Cracks. Oh, what's this down here? Under 1,000. Wow. Okay. Well, Donald. 1160. I'll see if there's the money flow. It's above it. Well, I'm going to say that the Russell's toast, which means we're going to now go look at T's. What is that? TZA for your three timers. There that is. All right. So here's the bodies, right? So now we're trading above the bodies. A dollar stop on here on TZA. And remember, you're going to need follow through. So the next day, it's going to have to go to like 2072 on here. And then just let the stuff run. I know it's difficult for Kevin to go, Kevin, you're suggesting buying TVIX and UVIX and all that, but it hasn't worked. Yeah, but at some point, ladies and gentlemen, it will work. You know, right? This is your deal. Same thing here, just like this. It rolled over and it went up. These are weekly bars, so you got a month out of this deal. And what did he have for on the breakouts on here? 28 to 32, $5, 20%. There's 20% in a month. Your trade is done for the year. I would hold this one a little bit longer. So we're talking double on this stuff, 50% higher. Okay. TZA. All right. Keep running through this stuff here. I am recording this, right? Right, Kev? Yeah. All right. There's our bonds. Boom. Okay. So bonds are right there at a support level, or ultra bonds here. Yeah, boom, there it is. It's going to be an interesting afternoon. I can already feel the anxiety level. And then there's this here. All right, I got to take a quick second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'll be back. All right, so we have the Russell crack in here. And then well, we still have the end of the day to go, so we still have time. Not much in the whole VIX department here. Pass on that. But like I was saying before, on this here, depending upon your pockets, okay, same type, you could just do a scatter plot on here. Here's the happy place, 15 and change, right? This is VIX futures. What's the margin on these guys? $4,000, okay, and it's $1,000 a point, or what is it? Base points, whatever, 100 points on here. So going from 17 to 18 is $1,000. I believe that's what it is. 225. All right. So 4,000 on the margin. So what I'm getting at is depending upon how much money you have. All right. So it's if this is the happy place at 15, it's you buy it at 15, at 14, at 13, at 12, at 11, whatever like that. And then when it swings back up, I was saying 16 because we're not getting any of this kind of slaughter yet. Man, bodies are rolling in here. Okay, so what do we have here? Here's 15. So this is prior to the Japanese deal here. And open interest has been, money flow has been going in since then. But the other deal too is that the VIX futures, they can buy the futures and then sell VXX against it as an arbitrage, kind of like buying minis and selling SPY, or buying large S&Ps and selling the little guys. Picking up the whole nickels and dimes and stuff. All right, so that's a weekly, daily. That looks like it could be making a bull flag here, right? Daily, 4 hour. So we have rollover yet? Money's come out of this. Nobody's looking for this here. Well, what did we have when we had this type of thing too? Oh, this is rollover here, moron. Oh, look, new contract, Kev. Okay, it's a rollover and a bull flag, but they just took it out of it. And we did get a spike, but this one I think is going to stick. All right, and there's no money in it. All right, so obviously it's jump up and down and go, that's just 9. So money is coming out of this thing. Nobody wants to buy VIX products. They've heard enough. Okay, I'm going to treat this VIX here as a bull flag, 4 hour, 2 hour. Happy place. All right. So like I said before on the weekly on here, this is the happy place. 4,000 a contract. So you buy it 15 and 14 and 13 and 12 and 11, whatever it did. And then you just sell it off 16, 17, 18. But I think we're going to wait here until 19 to start selling these things off for those that are in it. But I'm going to treat it as we're working on a kind of a bull flag here. That's the support down here. 1340 something, right? 2 hour. What's this down here? So we need to have a buy-in down here. 50. It's a round number. 55. How about 50? Yeah, 55 will work. Okay, that'll tell me if we're going to land on here. Okay, some sort of POTUS thing tomorrow. Plus, remember, it's not the end of the day yet. What I'm looking at here is that we do this thing where they'll bat, butterfly, whatever. We come down this, call it A pattern, B pattern, C pattern. We come under here, whack the stops, and then springboard higher. So I need an alert up there. It held here. So at best, we have a double bottom going on here. Okay. This is what Dow futures. Okay. All right. See, like I said, just, all of a sudden Dow trades up to 19 whatever. I guess we could shoot for 20 again, whatever. And look for a reversal here. That's all I'm doing is I'm waiting for some sort of reversal. The things that look like your Goldman Sachs and your let's see here. Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan. Okay. The money's in there, but of course it had to get all the way up here with that money, Kev. Dow 17, 10% is 2,000, so that'd be about right. All right. What's that? All right. Mexican peso bonds. I wonder if this is the pause on the bonds and take it higher. I wonder if this is going to support and get a bounce here. Well, we shall see, won't we? I'll do it this way on bonds. If it does fall back through, that means rates are moving at a pretty good clip here. This is pretty much kind of a shallow pullback here, kind of like this here. But we've moved down, you know what I'm saying? And it's, kind of like when they chased after the banks after the election, ran into the, where were they up at Brexit buying banks, that kind of deal. A little late to the party. Here's corn. Reversal on corn. 64. That'll work. Where were we at? January? Why are these things going up in January? Oh, South America. All right. Then a full reversal and they chase after it. Yeah, see that money's coming out of it. Yeah, I'm going to say that these things are holding, that they're going to hold here, just for right now. Yeah, money's coming out of it. Nobody's looking to buy this stuff. But Kev, you're going against you. Oh yeah, I'm going against the planet. All right, bear flag. Here's how I'm gonna get treated. Pretty high wick on here, but there's money flow deal. I'd avoid this one here. It was fun while it lasted. Meal, same thing, because you could end up halfway down here. That is about halfway, isn't it? And they already did it though, Kev. You saw that, right? The leg went down there and they zapped it. All right, see that, Kev? They already came down and hit half of it. Okay, and then follow through buying here. So we'll still lean long. So I guess, long meal, short oil, if that's how that plays out. But the gut just kind of says that this is all corrective in nature from this. Well, we shall see as time goes by, right? Yeah, money's coming out and landing right there. We're going to get I think we're going to get some turns here on paper. It's getting to be pretty deep on there too. It's going to be interesting. Our friends, the beans. Money's coming in here. Okay, twos. All right, wheat. 24, 25. It's holding. What's this look like? Oh, bulls, you have to get back this. You have to get this back up here, bulls. And there's a double top on the Aussie dollar. Money came out of it. They gave up here. They sold into it. So, okay. So we have the Aussie coming off. British pound still holding its own. Yeah, I'm treating this as a bull flag daily chart. Just going to treat the British pound here as a bull flag. Okay, like I said, it's tough not to like something at a 30-year low, but it's a fiat currency. All right, so this comes off. That would be crude oil too, right? Yeah. So that looks like it's flagging out. I'll stand aside. That was being treated as an inverted head and shoulders. If it cracks 107 and a quarter, then you have to go with it. Then we'd shoot up here to like 109. Mexican peso, double top on here. What's that? 22.10. Save some powder. If here's pivots, right? So if it holds pivot, we might get a swing tomorrow, and then you're looking for some sort of failure in here. I need this to come back through the other way. Yeah, actually, this is how you go about finding the top and the bottom. You just wait for the failure. That's basically it. Because this one, see this is pointing in the upper corner here, right? Angle of ascent. Do I have one under here? I have stuff everywhere. Keeps me focused. You have Pavlov the dog. All right. Okay, BZ crude weekly. Brent. All right, lower high. This could be starting a third wave down to 49, like the target said. But money is coming out of this, so you have to watch out for short covering on this thing. Yeah, short covering on that. Better put another one in up here. Any bad order, blah blah blah. Remember, we're working on Friday here. America closes out the week, but we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna treat this. We're gonna treat this as this is the high. This is the whole OPEC type deal here. I'm going to say that this is and you'll see it just precipitously drop here. All of a sudden, oil's down $4. Crude oil, same thing. Treating it as a bear flag. Money flows here. Prices didn't do it. It's bloated. This is our trigger. There was a stock yesterday, MNK. It lost support. You Blarney Stone. MNK. It lost its support and swooned. Or actually, there may be a precursor, whatever, to it. What am I looking at? almost typed in rise, MNK. Yeah, here's my little, all right. Kind of lost support on here, lost support and swooned. And we have this coming back here. Oh, another reason why I hate equities. All right, yeah, lost support. See that support line across here? Boom, boom, boom. Third time's the charm. Whee! And then comes running back. And now the bodies are in it. Now, puts are going to be expensive on here, but that's how I'd lean here with the people coming back into the deal. Well, let me see here. What do we have? Oh, isn't that pretty? Well, this would be your trigger on the upside. I'm going to pass on this stuff. It's equities. I'm looking for at least an intermediate top on here. You know, I'm on the macroeconomic side. The top will be when the real estate cycle peaks out here. I'm treating this as short covering on the dollar. My body's come screaming into it here, right up against resistance. So they're not going to like it if we come back through here. Oh, you buggers. Just do that for me, would you? Kevin, you're faster than the computer. Yeah, they came back in here. Yep. Yes. All right, so we go back to the weekly. They're getting out of it. 50% move. What do we have here, kids? What do we have? 54, 55, 20, 55, 58. Gosh, draw a trend line under here. Well, if we close down in here, I'm going to have to lean that the bulls are going to be in trouble. But as you can see here, you know, you had the sell-off, and then you have the follow-through. Well, it's a week. Try this again, Kev. What a daily. Come through the upside, 65. Spend a lot of time up here. It's which is best. Something's going to happen. It's either going to come. They're going to slide this thing down, and we're going to lose a third, or this thing's going to pop up here, and then we play a different game. Then I have to go and adjust and start looking for things like 2,300. All right. Sideways. Well, we'll see. That's the last stopping point for the bulls here. 38 for right now. And then 2160. Then we'll probably get a bounce. But when it happens, it happens. Don't worry, I'll be on it. As long as they say God willing, right? Where did my gold go? Gold here has to get over, I think I said 17. This would be support. It's all okay. So we may only get back to 8 on here. Corrective nature, 85. Well, at least you told them, Kev. You said, hey, we're coming into a band. Yeah, there's the pokey poke right there. Money flow kicked in, and they failed to make a new high. Money flow came in, took it out. Money flow come in again. They tried one more time. The swing, they got stopped. 1185 is your risk now for right now. It's this right here. 1180. Can you guys handle $5 wide? Well, there's a support band in here between 1180 and 1185. And you're looking at a daily. And we could treat that as a bull flag, right? 1190. Yeah, we'll treat that as a bull flag. What's that, 90? That's what we'll do, is we'll treat this as a bull flag for right now. I know how badly everybody wants 1,500, but you have to do the hard work first here. And So this was, okay, so what do we have here? So this is your buy for last year. We got it through August, right? July and August. So is this a corrective pattern of this? But this is pretty deep. Yeah, like it has to, we're back to this game here. 1128 on here. So I think I said 11 or 1231. So 1228. What's this here? 87. So 85, 90, 87, 85, 80. Trying to figure out if I want to, because here's your overhead resistance. What I'm trying to do is figure out what point is failure on here. That's too deep. 1173, I think, would probably be failure. Of course, like everything else, if they swipe the stops, I'll do 40. Swipe the stops and then return. All right. I'd kind of wait on buying here and see if we can get this thing under 1200, which it is. Yeah, this area here. Here's a happy area here you can see. Fibonacci levels, that would be about half. 70. Well, the world of trading. Basically, that was your line. It's out, so your trend line's down this way. Well, we'll see here. Luckily, at least I got you guys to take some off the table up in here. All right, we're back to euros. Euros, which I thought was reversal on here. Where we at here? 89? 89 and a half? We're not. That's what we'd do. Kind of like this. Equities tank. They run back into euros going, we're not going to raise rates, but it only lasts for like a quarter or 2 quarters that we hide out in eurodollars like we did at the beginning of the year. You know, with the sideways action. Where are we at here? Beginning of the year. Now, February, March. You know, this kind of a replay of this kind of thing again in euros. But Kev, you're going against, oh yeah, I'm definitely going against the world on this one. Long eurodollars. Gazawi Batman. What do I have on here? Oh, where's my little orbs? Monkey bars, right? Orbs. Oh, there's a whoops, there's a reversal here. Wow. Mark, this eurodollars are susceptible to quick trigger. Make sure stops. This would be the first pause. Definitely people would be talking about how many hikes this year. Copper. Staying aside on the copper. And cows. Some fresh meats moving in. Live cattle, Kevin, stop. All right. Hedgers. Is that it? Did I get them all? Back to the beans. Okay, we've kind of round the horn here. Poked our head up. All right. Everybody have yourself a great day. Thursday, January 19, 2017. California time? No, Denver time now. 11 a.m. Wow. All right. Toodles.